I'd like to call to order the Michigan City Tree Board meeting Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. It is 6:05 p.m. Can we get a roll call, please?
Connie Anderson, absent. Barb Ginther, present. Laura Henderson, here. Laura Koch,
Present.
Alina Yersaida,
Yes, ma'am, here.
and Mick Wolf, absent. Okay, we do have a quorum.
Wonderful. Well, if we're going to just start off on that, usually I'd go straight through the list, but since we do have a new member, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the city, everybody out there, and to the group, and tell us just a little bit about yourself and why you want to be a part of the board.
Well, my name is Alina Yersaida, and I came to a couple board meetings and found it very fascinating about tree cover and the benefits of trees in our area. And I also own a home in LaPorte, and I was looking at the benefits of trees there as well. I also am trying to get up into a lot of other programs, and I've made a lot of connections. For instance, I just mentioned earlier about the Girl Scouts and what they could do. Also about the squat post I had mentioned earlier about maybe hosting an event with them. And so that's basically why I'm here. I'm here to learn more about trees, raise money for trees, and benefit the community.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. We love enthusiasm and new ideas, and I think it's all great for anybody who can bring it to the table. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Can we do the approval of minutes for February 5th, 2020?
I move for approval. I'll second.
Okay, all approved.
Aye.
Secretary Treasurer's report.
Move for approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The claims for March.
Move for approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any communications out there? Anything you've heard from anybody? Any requests? Nothing in particular? Not on your end either, Debbie? Okay. All right, so we'll move on to committee reports. Outreach, Mick Wolf, Laura Koch, Laura Henderson. We have education, gardening, landscape, public relations, calendar events, and Arbor Day. Laura, do you have anything special?
No. I have a question.
Sure.
Did you email your presentation? What you
I
thought I did.
Council?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it yet.
I don't see
Did
it.
it not come?
Love to,
Okay.
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
Yes,
Sorry I missed it.
absolutely.
Be sure Alina gets
Yeah, I heard all these great things about
I
it.
was there. I was
You
there
were
too,
there.
but I still
Yeah.
wanted
I
it.
didn't
It was
get to see
fantastic.
it.
It was wonderful.
Very.
On that note, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I do believe the resolution regarding the tree ordinance, remember it was tabled. I think it wasn't the council meeting, it's obviously this week, but the one 2 weeks from this week.
Okay.
So mid-March, I think, is when it was tabled, so it will be up again.
Oh, okay.
So the more of us that can show up, the better.
What's that date?
It's going to be that Tuesday. I'll wait until I get for sure the agenda and make sure that it's on there, but I'm pretty sure it was tabled till mid-March. So I believe Tuesday the 17th, because I just had council last night.
Excellent. I could be there for that one too, for sure. So you can do that one. Okay.
6:30.
Good to know.
6:30.
6 or 6:30?
6:30. Yeah.
And they have a new thing now where they're only allowed to talk like 5 minutes or something. So it went really quick. We were out of there about 8:30 last night. So.
All right. For gardening, landscaping, just wanted to quickly say it has been a really soft winter. I guess it's been a warmer winter. And with that, it's been great in the sense that there were a lot of things that people were concerned they lost last year because of the polar vortex weather and the temperatures and things like that. But with this season, I'm noticing already sprouting and swelling of some of the plants, and that is an exciting thing, but it's also a little scary. You know, we have to slow it down a little bit. But along with that will also come a heavy germination of weeds. So there's a lot of weeds as well as insect issues that I'm a little concerned about, and I think everybody should just be aware of that when it comes to if you do use a weed preventer or any type, even if it's a natural preventer, to get those out early, earlier than usual if possible. even if you get your cleanup done and just get that out there before you're ready to do mulch in a month or so. Just get that out because it will help with any germination of weeds. Hinder those. Pre-emergents help hinder that. And it'll also help with spreading of additional ones, so as they come to their bloom and their blossoming, and they will spread easily that way. So it's good to get ahead of that if you can, in not only your lawn, but in the garden too. Insect control wise, and there's natural ways to approach both of these too. I am concerned about that as well because there's been things coming up on Purdue's reports, and I'll be really focusing on a lot more this next month because those will be the times of which people are going to want to approach with whether it's a systemic drench, to get into the system of the plant as it's coming out of dormancy, to get in there, or systemic just granules and things like that, because as those plants start to really come out of hibernation, you're going to start to really see those become active. And a lot of the insects will also become active. And there are reports that Purdue is concerned not only with weed control, but as well as insect infestations being a little heavier this year. So just a heads up on those types of things. And again, there's imidacloprid drenches, which are for insects. That starts with an I, imidacloprid. Those are drenches that can be systemic and they'll go for like 12 months. So that's really cool. That's out there, granules for your garden. And then there's also systemic fungicides or natural fungicides and natural weed preventers. So any products with mycorrhizae, that's a healthy bacteria, so it's like yogurt for plants, will help with a lot of the fungal issues that will probably also come along with some of the things that are coming up. And so the mycorrhizae, a lot of the fertilizers that are out now, the organic fertilizers especially, it's not just a hoax. That stuff really works. It strengthens the core of those plants, so you don't have to do a lot of crazy product later in the season. It really strengthens them up. And we put them to the test at the garden center, and for years, it's 8 or 9 years now, and I swear by it. It really helps. There will be things that certain plants recurringly get, and that is just a part of what they are. And it's their sensitivity or that specific line of plant that you may have to do an additional product to. But if you can start with the health, the base of your plant, that's really important. So just a couple of things to keep in mind. Arbor Day.
Yay, it's coming up. All kinds of stuff are coming up.
Yeah, anything special? Any updates?
Well, we have sort of like the kickoff to spring planting season on the 28th in Washington Park. That flyer's been circulating. I do know for Arbor Day, I believe I got in touch with Johnny Stimley, who's the new events coordinator. And so the very first farmers market, I believe, is going to be May 2nd. And so I've already coordinated with Andrea Nichols, for she'll be there. I don't know if she'll be able to bring any additional trees. She's got to spread the love around the region a little bit. Yeah. But we do have our saplings ordered, from the nursery, from the state nursery. So we, we'll have a number of things to give away. And then I'm going to put out an invite to the mayor if he wants to pop down and say something. But we've got all of our supplies and are ready to go for that. So
for May, you said, has Johnny approved an actual weekend date, or which?
I don't think so yet. Okay. Yeah, I should email him about that.
I'll be talking to him about a couple other things too, but just because if we nail that in, we can start putting that out there to everybody and giving them the heads up. But usually whoever is the events coordinator, they kind of save us some space.
Yep.
And we usually bring a couple tables.
Yes.
And fun stuff to hand out if we have it,
Yep.
So
I have a bunch of these still.
Oh, perfect.
We need some of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah. We should have, speaking of Arbor Day too, remember we have that environmental extravaganza on April 25th, which is sort of, I don't know, the whole last couple of weeks of April, first couple of weeks of May, I'm just it's all Arbor Day. So we have that environmental extravaganza, and we should have things like this there. I've got some tree little booklets that are, tree owner manuals.
That's nice.
Yeah, just some things that we can give out. We should put together maybe a little flyer just for, the tree board, who you all are, when our meetings are, just so,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just
like that.
Hey, we're at the tree board, in case you didn't know, come to our meetings and talk trees with us or something. So
I'm gonna figure out another type of giveaway as well.
yes.
So I'm
And I have
working hard
this
on
thing.
that.
This is, I talked a little bit about this last time. It's kind of the dichotomous key as a treasure hunt thing.
Oh, I love that.
So I have to find a bunch of actual samples, branches and stuff.
I also am going to bring some volunteer sign-up forms. Not like the actual waivers to the extravaganza, but if you're interested in volunteering, name, telephone, address, email, so that we can, reach out to you or, send out an email blast about upcoming, plantings and other events.
Yeah.
And I think, and I could run some copies of these off too, because they're really simple, but too, just a few copies, of the application that Laura put together for putting, planting a tree in the tree lawn.
Because you just got a tree.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing.
Because I think a lot of people, maybe they don't know about it. And so it's like, hey, you can do this, and here's some, everybody gets a handout. So yeah, I'm kind of like thinking about different literature that we can bring to that. But I think it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, though, too. These are the ways that we need to present all that. We don't have enough opportunities to really do that. So
Yeah, then if we have the Oktoberfest in the fall,
I
we have
still
another
love
chance.
that.
I think that's going to happen. I've been talking with Johnny about it.
Oh, good.
I've already started some conversations with some of the brewers,
Uh-huh.
some of the local brewers. And I mean, it won't take them long to whip up, an oak barrel aged beer for this. But
That would be fantastic.
so cool.
the way I'm envisioning it is maybe doing it somewhere like Fetter's Alley. That way it's just easier for us in terms of permitting and things. But I want it to be family friendly. So we'll have a cordoned off beer garden. Where beer can be for purchase, and we'll get some of those proceeds. But then also have, like some of our local food trucks be able to be there. Have some fun activities. Maybe another, sapling giveaway from the state nursery for the fall planting season, and just kind of like a fun get together. Nothing, extremely, outrageous or anything, but just like a fun community event. Some fun beer, some fun food. Maybe some music and some activities and games, and there's a lot of interested parties I think that would kind of help us pull that off, and we can raise a little bit of money. But yeah, I'm excited about Oktoberfest.
Such a great idea. I was wondering how Johnny would react to that since he missed the...
He called me about it. He was like, I heard about this Oktoberfest.
I'm interested.
So, yeah, he's going to be a really great ally in this new role of his, I think.
Too. I'm so excited to hear that.
Which reminds me, are we going to get a new city council member here?
They're going to caucus somebody in at some point.
Yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to know, and then it's going to be next meeting.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I figured they'd have to, fill that seat pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're going to miss Johnny. We didn't get to say
know.
goodbye, but at the same point, we're looking forward to who is coming on next and what they have to bring to the table as well. So yeah. Well, great.
And here in the minutes it says, I was talking about this thing for Arbor Day, but I was really talking about it for the sustainability thing.
Oh, should we make a crack on that?
I suppose maybe we should.
Do we need to make a... No, okay.
I don't know if it
I don't think
matters.
it's
It's just
necessary,
so people know.
But just so people know. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Okay. Anything else in outreach? Okay. A little part of the public relations that Alina. Okay, I'll get that down.
That's okay.
After I say it 5 more times. A little part of that is, you had mentioned a little bit before the meeting about the Girl Scouts and wanting to keep them in mind in regards to some of the public relations or some of the different projects we're doing. And so I just wanted to note that while we're talking about it at the meeting.
I also brought up about doing the breakfast with a forester, and she said we could bounce off some ideas with that as well.
Okay.
The Squat Post, like I said, has breakfast once a month at the end of the month on Sundays, and I thought it would be a good fit to bring in the tree things with them. They're really excited about any kind of community program, and they're a great group of people to work with.
They are. That's a great idea. Okay.
Maybe we should share with both of those groups about the 28th, March 28th tree
Oh,
planting.
yeah. If you have contact info.
Yes, I do. I just
Yeah.
didn't bring it with me, but I will. The minute I leave here, I'm actually going to dart down to the squat post, leave the information. If you don't mind, I'm going to leave them their number. That way, the middle person, me, just gets taken out. You can talk to them directly.
Sure.
And then I'll do the same with the Girl Scouts. I'll leave out of here, go home, give her the number, and then you guys talk, and it's out of my hands. And
Okay, we'd love to help coordinate that. That would be helpful too.
Yeah.
So,
having the
That's also-
coordination
that's a
from
huge
tree board
help.
members is important.
It really is. She's got a lot on her plate,
Yeah.
and so any part of that we can help with, it's so like what you just said in particular.
Yeah,
just
I can give the number. Anything that you need, me to do, I can do.
If you would do the reach out, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
And we're going to get you in the email loop
Yes.
and get you all of our
I'm
numbers.
in the process of making a new email.
That's okay.
I had a lot on my plate the last month, so
Yeah.
I am now back to breathing.
You guys hear that?
So, yeah,
Coming
I'll
out of
do all that.
hibernation too,
Yeah.
right?
As far as reaching out to the squat post, I'll just tentatively tell them, this is the idea. She's okay with it, and then I guess
Or
you and
brainstorming some sort of like social,
Okay.
sort of event.
Okay. They have meetings there. They have their squat post meetings. So maybe I can coordinate you coming to a meeting and then talking with them about that. I'll just send you an email or something, and then if you can make it, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to tell everyone though too, I'm like super excited, but our trees are coming out of the ground on the 16th or 17th of this month. And so basically from then on until probably like early May, it's going to be digging holes and planting trees and getting them established and everything. So I wanted to say to anyone, if I'm slow on the response to emails or anything like that, that's why.
Your hands are actually in the dirt out there getting it done.
Yeah, but I'm super excited. It's going to be just awesome.
Where are we at with the digger? I forget what it's called.
The tree survey?
No,
No,
but that too. The digger thing that you were going to ask.
Oh, the spade.
Yes.
The tree spade.
Yes, we actually did some kind of searching around. My mechanics over at Central Maintenance are working on this right now, but we have a little mini backhoe, actually, that attaches to a Kubota. And talking with those that worked with Frank Seilheimer, actually, what he would do is he would take that backhoe, take out the main scoop, and then you kind of finish the hole with shovels to make sure it's absolutely the right, the right depth, the right size.
And that does work really well.
Yes, because we can't afford a tree spade right now.
Yeah.
And I was looking into like augers and things of that nature, but there's all sorts of problems associated with augering tree holes. You get them too deep, you backfill them, but they still sink a lot. So augering brings its own set of issues. So, in sort of thinking about the logistics, this seems like the best option to just make sure that, when we take a look at like our average root ball height, that,
Sometimes
we're
it can
not
be overkill when you'd use some of that larger
right.
stuff.
So I was like, you know what? The smaller and the gentler, the better.
Yeah.
And it just, it seemed like a very sort of workable system for getting these holes dug in an efficient manner and also making sure that they're the right size. I spent a lot of time
I totally agree with that.
excavating root balls or root flares lately.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't let that happen to And, with the augering, it just really churns it so finely that you get settling that you don't anticipate even. So I was like, I think that should be up and running and ready for us. And so we're ready to just kind of hit the ground, with these trees. And I've kind of got a schedule of, going out and picking them up, bringing them back and,
Putting them into place.
then going and getting the next batch.
Yeah.
And
So that you're not
where
at
will they be
overload.
planted?
Pardon?
Where all will they be planted?
I'm so glad you asked. So I've been playing in, Google Maps, but then also Paint, and just, creating a visual for myself, because I had written on a map, where I was going to put all these, and then sort of determined which species I wanted where. But then I wanted something color-coded, so it really sort of gave me a better visual, so I've been playing with this. And also, too, this is, how I know what trees to tell him to prepare for us, you know, say, okay, now these 15, now these 15. So the bulk of them, I had mentioned, are going to go sort of in that Midtown area, because just in, you know, my observations, and then also looking at our 10-year-old tree survey data, but then knowing also what we've taken out over the last 10 years, that's like the baldest area that's concentrated. And so...
Like York Street?
Pardon?
York Street?
In that area, yes. So like Thurman, DuPage, Pearl, Tremont, a lot of those just where the, you know, entire blocks were taken out. From what I understand, it was a heavy ash area that just, you know, there were multiple removals at a time that were not replaced. So I put together this sort of visual, if you want to pass it around.
Oh, perfect.
And that's the majority, well, about half of them.
Nice
maybe
variation. And
yeah.
in your placement there as well. That's really nice.
Yeah, like about 120 are going to go in that area. 120 of the 200. And I did that because, well, first of all, that's where there's, you know, a huge need, but also thinking in terms of maintenance and watering needs. It's like I can't be, you know, I wanted to be able to, you know, take out the watering truck and hit the majority of them in that cluster.
It's not so easy just and then go.
Yeah. And then I've tried to, like, you know, bring together some other clusters. So I have like some red buds going in down Ohio Street a little bit. A few little clusters of red buds in a couple of areas to the north of town. And then I've also been coordinating with the parks director and assistant superintendent about some of our parks that need some trees. Those are hard to see on those maps. They're the little purple dots. Yeah, okay, where I'm just like clustering, you know, just some red buds under some power lines. But I also know...
It's going to make quite a statement with those red buds, too.
I'm so excited. I kind of went overboard on the red buds, but I don't regret it at all.
I really love red buds.
Yeah. And what I hope on doing is sort of like planting them in a way that, you know, funding contingent, obviously, that, you know, if we get another opportunity to, you know, make some purchases, like come back and intersperse with like some serviceberry and just things that are going to be like really fun.
And in certain areas like those, though, it's really going to make a nice statement together too. But then adding nice lines of a little bit of differentiation later, that's going to be a good idea.
Yeah. So I'm super excited.
Well, I had some neighbors who have been requesting trees for some time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, remember Chad Smith was here on 8th Street?
Yep,
And
I have a list of them.
On 9th Street.
Yeah. I have to go look at those trees on 8th Street and see what's really going on with them, because I know I pruned that back in the fall. A lot of those oaks.
There was also some submitted last year on 10th Street. I'll resend those to you. Just to make sure that
I have to be careful with 10th Street, though, because of the double tracking. I don't want to plant something and then have it come out because of construction. So I'm working with the planning department, just like, you know, I'm showing the planning department these plans. Like, do you know of any projects in these areas that, you know,
and
a year or 5 from now, they're not going to pull my trees out.
And I can follow up with those people about that, too, and just communicate you know, about it. So,
but I do have the 8th Street. It's actually like front and center on my desk right now because it's not in that big cluster, but you know what I think would go there. But I do want to go and check on those and see if those aren't something that I can revive. I know there's one empty tree lawn on 8th Street, and a woman had called me about a tree there, and so got her. But then I know there was a woman who was concerned that her tree, and I think that's who you're referring to, that her trees were dying, and they might be. I hope they're not, but they might be.
And then there's somebody across the street from her, which who called you.
Right.
And then at least one person on 9th Street that I know of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I've got their information and their phone numbers and everything too. So yeah, in the coming weeks, gonna make 100% sure where everything's going. You know, and this might change a little bit, obviously, you know, once we get into the ground, you know, and also, like, if he's loaded things on the trailer, like, I'm not going to remove 3 trees just to get the one that I said was going to go right there, but the basic idea is, like, you know, shade trees in these areas, interspersed species, so we don't have just, like, one monolithic, you know, species. That's why, you know, the ash areas are so bald, you know, because of that monoculture there. But Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a little anxious because I know it's going to be just like run, but it's going to be exciting. And, I've got my assistant is really excited to help with this too. So it's going to be good.
It's going to be all in good timing too.
It is.
That's great.
Another thing that I am doing as well too, because 200 trees in the ground is super exciting, but I also want to sort of make, that public outreach statement as well, and not just have people wander outside and like, oh, there's a thing in my tree lawn. So there's a couple of exciting developments. First is, remember those tree tags that I had talked to you all about?
Yes.
I had sort of put together like a little cardboard prototype of tags for all of our new trees to just kind of hang gently on one of the lower branches so that passersby can see them, and it just says, "Hi, I'm new here," and it gives the common name, the scientific name, and then there's a QR code that you can scan with your phone for more information about this tree, about Michigan City urban forestry. So that is all starting to come to fruition. I've reached out. The Main Street Association is going to help us with that. They're going to build the website for us that QR code will go to. I'm not 100% sure, but as of yesterday when I got an email, mctrees.org was available. And then we'll link that, of course, to the city's website. And then that will have links, they can click on the species and see information about the species. We're going to have things about, fun facts about trees, like a lot of the stuff from my presentation, just, like why is it important that we're good to these trees that we just put in? It's like not just because they're pretty, but because, in 10, 20 years, they're going to do awesome stuff for us. And, things like, just basic tree care, warning signs, like if you suspect something's wrong, who to get in touch with, some my information, things like that. And so that's for just anyone who walks by that tree, can say, oh, I'm going to scan that and get that information.
That's exciting. That's actually an option.
It's called
mctrees.org. I mean, it's not a thing yet, but the domain was available as of yesterday. I hope it's not taken. But either way, we'll come up with something fun. And then it'll link to the city's website as well, or it'll be hosted on the city's website, something of that nature. And so then...
takes you right to...
Did he make it already?
It takes it right to Michigan City, and it says trees save money for every dollar spent.
Oh my gosh. He must have built it already. Go, Justin. Thanks, Justin.
Michigan
that's
City.
awesome.
That's
Yeah, he said he was going to start putting it together. And tomorrow night, at this time, actually, I'm going to be meeting with, there's a local high school, like, robotics team, who we're going to buy these, I'm going to purchase their little, they're circular discs. They're made out of wood. They're about, they're thin, so they're lightweight, nothing that's going to bother our little baby trees at all. But that's what we're going to sort of like laser etch the QR code and all the lettering and stuff onto. So it's like an organic material. It'll decompose over time. But my plan is I'm not going to like leave them on the trees. I'm going to put them on there for like 6 months and then go collect them.
Yeah.
And the ones that are, rotting or whatever, get rid of. But the ones we can reuse, keep reusing. But just have them on there for a temporary amount of time just so people, get acquainted with their new neighbors. But yeah, I think the robotics team tomorrow night is going to be brainstorming about how they're going to, etch the, I'm super excited, That's you guys. Really cool. And just like so many people pulling together to kind of make it happen. Because I want these trees to be perceived as, living creatures, the living creatures that they are, rather than just like an inert piece of landscaping that, the city put in. So in addition to that, I also am having made some door hangers that I designed. Just about, you have a new neighbor, here's some things you can do to help them settle in. And these are just prototypes that the printing company made me, just so we could see what they would look like on the glossy print. Of course, they're going to be cut. But he just cut these by hand, so I could see what they would look like. And they'll have the die cut, so you can hang them on a door. All the imagery... I couldn't find any stock photos like online that I particularly liked or that didn't have writing on it that I wouldn't have wanted. Right. And so I just doodled all that in Microsoft Paint.
Oh, well done.
But I was a little tickled with myself. I was like, this actually came out okay.
I love it.
So like on the front, it's just, basic, here's a couple things if you're walking by or leaving your home and you happen to notice, contact me. And then on the back is information like, hey, if you want to adopt this tree, here are some of the responsibilities that would entail. And of course, they'd get more information from me and you all about how to care for that tree and, to let us know if they'd like to adopt their tree. And then that eases our watering burdenings and things of that nature. So,
or maybe it's got your email. Do you want to put any that other website on it too, or?
We probably can and will. These haven't been made yet. These are
just little pretty.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice.
Yeah, we could put the mctrees.org. So, just like little public outreach things. And I wanted like the glossy cardstock too, because if people want to stick it on their fridge, I didn't want it to just be some flimsy, thing.
These are nice and they stay and they hold up too.
Right.
So we use them for laser treatments or different things like that.
Yeah. So I'm
very nice.
I'm just excited that
You
it's all
covered
kind of
all the things.
I tried. There were some other
And
things
anything that goes in depth, though, that's another level. So that's emailable or
And so if someone wanted to adopt their tree, I'd send them a whole booklet of things to do, things not to do. Do you need to call in some help? Do you need to get a hold of the forester? I'm excited. It's going to be a really intense few months, but it's going to be good.
I will be walking the parade, the St. Patty's Day parade. Do we have literature for that?
We don't have any more of those green cards
anything
left
that's
that
happening.
We had a couple years ago. We did have special
Email
cards.
me a note. When you email me, remind me to get you, I can run off some copies of the flyer for the March 28th tree planting event.
That's probably the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to be passing out some candy and stuff, and I thought, maybe we can include something, from here with that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Sometimes we have ourselves in the parade, but we kind of. I thought about it after last when I was walking out here. I thought we forgot to talk about the St. Patrick's Day parade last month. So it's this Saturday, so there's no way.
It's too it's too late to go in on that, but that would be amazing if you could hand out some.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a
That
little.
is the perfect thing to hand out. That's,
Perfect.
And I think going forward in the future, if we are going to be a part of it, anything that we can promote early like that is the way to go,
Yeah.
It's a good thought.
We probably need to talk at the January meeting.
Yes, we do. We need to make note of that. I'm going to actually put that on the calendar. We should go down the rest of the list here.
I'm trying to think what's next. With city street trees.
Grant application to maintenance.
Yep. I mean, I have a few on my list. A couple have fall deadlines. One of the things I really want to keep my eye on is the one I mentioned to you all, I think, last month that, had come to my attention, but I didn't have time to sort of orchestrate how I would come up with the match, but that National Fish and Wildlife Association Save Our Great Lakes grant, urban reforestation is a category, and I want to try to pull together as much match as I can because I want to use it obviously for sort of planting and maintenance money, but also I want to try to start a program for invasive removals. I want to get those calorie pears out of downtown. I want to get, the tree of heavens that are in our city tree lawns out of there. But, we're going to need money to do it.
You said, I think last meeting you said that...
It's a February deadline.
Yeah. So it's something that you just want to focus on for the next year.
Yep. And get some drafts going.
Okay.
But going to certainly apply for the DNR Community and Urban Forestry Grant. Maybe get a little something, to either... for us to, or for you all to, either purchase more trees or more maintenance supplies, things like that. And then definitely for the fall planting, I want to, I'm going to apply for a community grant because I don't know if we'll have money for a fall planting, but if we can get 100 trees from community, then that'll do it. And I think I'm in touch pretty frequently with Drew Hart, who's one of their coordinators, and I think the reason we didn't get a grant this past year was Michigan City was sort of new to the program. The forester was new, and they didn't really, they were like, well, we need a relationship first, but now we have one. So fingers crossed. I think we should be able to get some trees.
Purchasing and tree planting, you kind of covered. Planning department, I guess that's not really.
Urban forest plan maintenance. Really excited for developments in this. It seems like every time we have a tree board meeting, something exciting moves forward with our tree inventory or our right-of-way asset inventory. Just today, we got the notice to proceed. So I'm going to put together that notice to proceed to our consultant, our contractor, and send it to them. And then I think they're going to be out surveying our trees starting March 16th.
And who's the contractor?
So HLR Engineering. Yeah, they've got 5 ISA certified arborists that are going to be doing the tree aspect. The planning department's also, they're doing like sort of other obstructions, like city-owned light poles, and any, like if there's a random statue in one of our right-of-ways that we don't know about, there's a lot of things in our right-of-ways that we aren't aware of. But they've got an excellent team to do the tree inventorying and the hazard rating and everything of that nature. So we're going to get a really good inventory, and I think that deliverable, we're planning on having it by the end of September. Which is really kind of perfect timing, as we go into the dormant season. Then I can really sit down with it and sink my teeth into it, and
it gives you time to get everything else.
Yes, and analyze the data that they've collected for us, and use that to be able to, prioritize, what we're going to be doing in the coming year, in the coming 5 years, in the coming 10 years. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, I think they're going to hit the ground. On the 16th, at least that's the plan. And we got that notice to proceed from INDOT, which we were just waiting for.
Right.
Still waiting to hear on the tree sitting, but like I think Mick was saying, they do that in March anyways. So I think that should
end
be
of February, early March. This is right when it usually comes around.
Okay, I checked it the other day, and it still says pending state approval.
Yeah.
So, but I don't see. We had all our ducks in a row.
Definitely. So I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
Goals, fundraising efforts. Any side notes on that from anybody in particular? I know that Connie has some things that she'll be talking about at next meeting. She wanted to let you guys know. Let's see, old business. Workman's comp for insurance. Mick is going to be connecting with the city attorney about that. Have you heard anything in particular either?
Not yet.
Not.
Yeah,
I know Mick was going to, so. Any other old business? Okay. Any new business? All right. Board member comments. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Excited to have you. Thank you.
During the boat races, is anything going on during that time? I know there's a lot of people that go to that, so I didn't know if we could do something with the park department down at Washington and do some kind of fun thing during that, because a load of people come to that.
Oh, yeah.
I know they're from out of the area, but it's kind of one of those word of mouth type things that snowballs in the community. So I belong to a group and we talk about a lot of different things, and so someone had brought that up. I'm trying to think of everything that someone's asked me about, and I'm like, I don't know, I'll find out. I don't know, I'll find out. I didn't know if there's something during that event that kids that are out on the beach at that time watching the boat races, or young adults or whatever that want to touch base and find something out. I don't know, I'm just brainstorming out loud.
Yeah, we haven't done anything prior, but we will keep that in mind as we head a little closer. And to mid-season, we should probably touch base about that and see if there's any way we can maybe mull over some ideas. Okay, sounds good.
I just have a question. We've got in our subdivision, there's a tree that is not on our property, but there's a big branch that's like hanging over one of the houses. We have a right to cut that down, right?
To cut the branch.
Yeah. Not the tree, just the branch over it.
Yeah. As long as you don't go I was reading up on this because I had someone else call with a question, but you can cut the tree branch to your property line, like wherever.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you go on to the other private property, then you can.
And it's even if it's a foot, you know, so try and really.
Well, it's really like the builder's property, right? Still right now.
Right.
Yeah, but we want to get that cut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it falls on the house. And,
Absolutely.
Right.
It's always good to ask about that kind of stuff. If anybody has questions out there, it is important to ask before you move forward on it. Just to make sure.
And a lot of tree care companies will know those rules as well.
Yes.
You know, they'll look at something and say, that's a city tree, not touching it until I get permission, or oh nope, that's going over, you know, into somebody else's property. Like they're pretty aware. Yeah.
It's a new owner of that one, and he's pretty concerned about that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Do it.
are you doing the school circuit?
I'm planning to. That's
Okay.
My first priority for March and April's got to be to get these. So I'm hoping by the end of the school year I can.
Okay.
But I really have to.
If you don't, are you planning it for like the beginning of the
Probably
school
the
year?
fall. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to. Well, I'm actually working on coordinating with the local high school environmental group here that's sort of organized by Nicole Mesker. We're doing a tree planting event this spring, so they're going to help me actually get some of these trees in the ground.
Oh, okay.
You know, just a few of the smaller ones and things like that. But because we're going to be putting some, in addition to the neighborhoods, I do have trees slotted for Hanson Park, some for Patriot Park. And I think Water Tower Park. We're going to pull out some of those like just funky, like weird shrubbery like things, and we're going to put in some red buds there. But then down at Hanson Park, behind the basketball courts, it was so. I walked up to these things and I was like, what? And normally if I can't identify it like right off the bat, it's because it doesn't belong there. And it was like, I was like looking, and I even took like a twig back, you know, to look at the buds and compare. But it's like this whole like chunk of like Osage orange. That's just, and then there's like vines all in it and stuff. And so they wanted to know if they could pull it out. And I was like, yeah, you can take that. Yeah. So we're going to put some river birch in behind there because they will love it down there because that park floods sometimes.
Yes,
and they just like to steep in a lot of water, so we've got some river birch going in there, and out at Patriot Park, and so there's some park trees going in as well too. So that Osage orange, I was like looking at it, I was like, what are you? But I figured it out.
All right. Any more board member comments? Okay. Any public comments? Okay. The next meeting date, April 1st, 2020.
April Fools.
Yeah, is that good with everybody? No, but really, is it good with everybody? Very great. And then I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a wonderful
you.
evening.